It's 3 a.m. at the Royal Elephant Kraal, on the outskirts of Ayutthaya, Thailand's ancient capital. A young Asian elephant has just given birth to her first baby. Her leg is raised as she attempts to ease the cramps from the birth. The only problem is, the baby's not moving. These first moments are critical. Meet Sompast. He's a Mahout, a traditional elephant handler. He's on the front line of Thailand's battle to protect and preserve the Asian elephant. But right now, it's the little newborn that's his greatest concern. The Mahouts want to leave everything to the young mother, but it's her first time, and her instincts and reactions are unsure. Sompast gives the word, and they move in to break open the placental sac. The baby takes its first breath of the warm night air. Sompast is overjoyed. They have named the baby Plight, which means golden rod. And for the rest of this little elephant's life, his Mahout M will be his friend and protector.
He really happy, you see. He say he needs sun, and he have tonight.
Only minutes old, Plight takes his first faltering steps. But they are steps into an uncertain future. Today, the Asian elephant is on the brink. This story is about great affection and respect between elephants and human beings. And it's a story of one man's fight to protect the Asian elephant against extinction. Like generations before him, Sompast is part of a noble tradition that goes back almost 5,000 years into the spiritual heart of Asia.
My family very happy because he very big, he very strong. Elephant character like this will bring a great thing to my family, to my Mahout, maybe to my country.
As a Buddhist, Sompast believes all elephants are one step away from being reincarnated human.
I want to tell people, don't think elephant is only animal. They can think.
But like the elephant itself, the Mahout's role is also under threat. If Sompast loses his fight to save the animals he loves, he could become the last Mahout. Just 100 years ago, elephants roamed throughout Asia in vast herds. There were over 300,000 here in Thailand alone. Once they ranged over 9 million square kilometers, from the Iranian coast into India, across Southeast Asia, Sumatra, Java, Borneo, and into China. Today, their numbers have plummeted. In all of Asia, only 25,000 are thought to roam wild, with only 15,000 living in captivity. Wild herds like this are extremely rare. Here in Thailand, only 1,800 still live in the forest. And over the last 100 years, these forests have been reduced to a few scattered parks around the country. Asia's proud symbol of strength and power is under constant threat. Farmland is rapidly eating away their habitat, and their traditional forest pathways no longer lead them to food and sanctuary, but instead into often fatal conflict with man. And Thailand's forest ranges are seriously undermanned. The government cannot afford the funding needed to protect the elephants in the wild.
Elephant die every day. A police and a ranger try to save, but they can't because we didn't have big money for take care forest and animal in the forest.
Like the elephants, the forests are also under threat. Cash crops such as sugarcane and pineapples have replaced the jungle and are now planted right up to the park boundaries. However, wild elephants don't recognize boundaries, and with tons of ripening fruit within easy reach, they enter the fields at night to pillage and gorge. Their feasting causes millions of dollars damage annually, and they're often shot or poisoned by desperate farmers. The forest rangers try to step in and help, but it's hard to satisfy both farmer and elephant. Most times they fail. And even though the farmers don't want to harm the sacred animals, they believe they have no choice. To them, it's a question of survival.
ชอบครับมันเป็นเพื่อนผมด้วยครับมันไม่เหงาเพราะคืนส่งเสียงร้องเสียบแซ่ก็เหมือนจะเสียงเพลงอยู่ประจำเหมือนเพื่อนกันผมเคยชินเหมือนจะเลี้ยงงัวซะแล้วอยู่กับช้างแล้วผมไม่เคยยุ่งเกี่ยวกับช้าง มีช้างมายุ่งกับผม มากินผมเสียหายหมดทุกที
ถ้าไงให้ซื้อ2ไปสแตนบายที่หน่วยปะยางอ่ะ
Not all farmers are so forgiving, and many elephants disappear, drugged or shot.
ใช่ไหม
Keeping the remaining wild population free and secure in the parks will need significant funding to adequately fence and staff the parks, and to educate and compensate the farmers that live on their borders.
โดยปัญญาเหล็กเลยมีแต่ยางนั้น
But it gets worse. On Thailand's borders, elephants can face death at the hands of ivory poachers or the crippling effects of forgotten landmines. Here at Lampang Elephant Hospital in northern Thailand, Tida, a domesticated female, is being treated after stepping on a landmine. She's lucky to have survived. To step on an explosive designed to tear a man in half and walk away shows her extraordinary strength. Because she's used to humans, she'll accept medical care. If she was wild, she'd have fled back into the forest to suffer a slow and agonizing death. Or worse, she could have raged into urban areas, causing havoc before being destroyed. Just across the border in Burma, this domestic elephant has just been captured after a rampage that killed 4 people. What set it off is unclear, but the villagers must control the animal if it is to survive. Sompas believes the domestic population can't be returned to the wild. They have no fear of man and would quickly become half wild and even more dangerous. He says a new role must be found for domestic elephants. Here at the Royal Elephant Kraal, Sompast has over 150 elephants under his care, and that number is growing every month.
I need so many. Let's go.
My king and my queen, they need somebody help elephant. We open here and train them again. Now they trust me and they trust this place.
Many of the elephants are off the streets. Others are from farms that cannot afford them. And still others are old and have nowhere to spend their remaining years. Sompast is retraining them and giving them a new home, which he hopes will lead to a new place in Thai society.
All my life, I learn about culture. Elephant is my culture. Every day we don't think elephant is animal. We think it's like a son, brother, sister, or grandmother.
Sompast works to bond humans with elephants into a self-contained family, and that means practical help from the very first days of an elephant's life. The latest addition to the Royal Elephant Kraal, Plight seems to have mastered walking. But his Mahout M and the others are concerned. He still hasn't fed.
It's been 6 hours and the baby hasn't taken its first drink. So that first drink is very important because it gets the glycerin and basically those antibodies help it survive. So it hasn't taken that, so now the mother is getting a bit anxious, which can become dangerous because she's anxious, she wants it to drink.
M does his best to guide Plycatchathong to the mother's milk. Finally, success. After several difficult hours, it's a combination of hunger, instinct and Mahout that brings Ply to feed. His survival is assured. Sompas's journey to conserve the Asian elephant began almost accidentally 14 years ago. His daughter Ploy asked for an elephant for her 7th birthday. It was an unusual request, but not impossible given the role of the elephant in Thai culture. But it was the first step in Sompas's extraordinary journey.
My daughter, she learned a lot about the elephant. And from that elephant, we trust together. You know, we know how stay with elephant. Stay with elephant means trust.
Now, 14 years later, Ploy works alongside Sompas every day, ensuring the well-being and survival of the animals she loves so much. For centuries, the elephant carried Asian culture, religion and the economy on its back. A combination of tank, tractor and forklift, but with infinitely more dependability and longevity, they were a marvel to their owners to be valued and prized. With marked intelligence and distinct personality, they were treated like no other animal in history. Unlike their African cousins, Asian elephants have benefited greatly from their unique relationship with humans. Because of man's favor, down through the ages, they've survived and prospered. Though unfortunately for the elephant, this usefulness had a use-by date. By the 1960s, the forest had largely disappeared, and what was left began to be cleared by machine. By the 1980s, all old-growth logging was banned. Now, thousands of domestic elephants have little to do. Tons of idle muscle that still needs feeding. And it was a problem that was not going to go away. Elephants can live for more than 70 years. These giant vegetarians consume between 170 and 200 kilograms of food per day, a full 10% of their body weight. That's equivalent to 3 fully loaded shopping trolleys of fruit and vegetables. If the elephants aren't earning their keep, village people can't afford to feed them. The tragedy is that elephants are much more than beasts of burden. They are a fundamental part of spiritual life in Thailand. This is Sompas's lifelong friend, Han Salagam. He is the abbot of Pa Ajiang Kapo Monastery in eastern Thailand. He also works to maintain the place of elephants in Thai culture. Ten years ago, Ditaka, a large bull elephant, died at the age of 56. He had been with this family all his life. He was buried where he fell, the villagers unable to move the massive body. Today, the village and owners have come to unearth his remains and honor and bless them to ensure his place in eternity. This is an important event in village life, and Han Salagam is here to help these people maintain the elephant as a vital part of their community, both as a spiritual friend and a source of power. With the remains unearthed, the monk takes them back to the monastery. Though a Buddhist place of worship, the monastery and its grounds are on ancient land, and so they honor both Buddha and the spirits of the forest, still revered by the locals. For Ditaka's family, it is a place to come and say a final prayer for a much-loved companion. Here his remains will lie together with others for eternity. Sompas knows that the elephant is a focal point in the struggle to preserve traditional culture in a modern world. The elephant stands as spiritual and physical guardian of the temples, and the people believe that Buddha was an elephant before he became a man. Celebrations like this are common in Thailand and have bonded local communities for thousands of years. Almost all the elephants in central Thailand were trained by a tribal people called the Gue. This photograph of Mahout's was taken in 1955 during the last great elephant roundup. It records the end of an era for both elephant and Mahout. Their traditional role training wild elephants to work with humans was lost. A whole sector of society became unemployed with no prospects. wants, Mahouts underpin society. The 5 levels of advancement to Master Mahout, providing a lifelong career for boys to grandfathers. These novices are called Kwan, or young Mahouts. Sompast is a Siddham, the 4th level. Then there are the Arjuns. Only 5 of these Master Mahouts are left in Thailand today. Sompast dreads a time when he may be the last Master Mahout in Thailand. That's why he's so anxious to teach the ancient ways to a new generation. Here at the Elephant Kraal, Sompast has established his unique training program to bring the old skills back to life. This is as much about protecting the elephant as it is about training Mahouts.
Good elephant can use this position and very high to lift you right easy.
Good.
First, elephant is a social animal, like a stay in the forest like a family, have a level for control. You must to tell elephant, I am big boss, and Mahout is his friend, his brother. In this place, Mahout don't think about money, think only elephant. I try to take care of family for Mahout.
This is Durtoy, Sompast's star Mahout. With his uncanny ability to calm large bull elephants, Sompast places every new bull that comes to the center into his care.
Thai people want to play with the elephant because the elephant is so cute. My wife like him. Everybody like him. We want, there's my house. Dodo stay next to my house every night. But because I want to take care of looking all day, all night, I want to stay with you close together. Scared. You have to listen to me, okay? Good. Talk to me together now, talk. Are you okay? Hey.
Sompast's programs have borne much fruit. He has become the most successful breeder of Asian elephants in the world, working to increase the size and strength of each generation. And it's made him a vital part of contemporary Thai culture.
My king and my queen tell me, please breeding elephant. He worry about elephant will smaller. He asked me use a big bull and develop all elephant bigger today.
In appreciation for his work, the Queen recently bestowed Sompast with a new name, a great honor in Thailand, and today he is known affectionately as Piom. It's not just breeding that's important here. The compound is about rehabilitation as well. This bull was a road killer, responsible for several deaths. In the past, he has used these crossed tusks to inflict fatal damage. So now Sompast has begun the long process of rehabilitation. With understanding and medical care, he's confident this bull will become safe to handle and a valuable part of his program. Ironically, Sompast also teaches his elephants how to relive their ancient role as weapons of war. This may look like a circus act, but it's much, much more. Here in the royal compound, Sompast and his team are bringing Thai history and culture back to life.
Elephant like a soldier with no war, but they're still fighting.
Relying on over 1,000 years of written accounts and legends handed down over generations, these domestic elephants and their mahouts are being trained in the art of war. The political and military history of Asia rides almost literally on the elephant's back. Welcome to the Kingdom of Thailand in the year 600 BC. If you'd been living here when the Buddha was alive, this is what you would have seen on the plains outside Bangkok. The only difference is there would have been 1,000 of these war elephants, maybe more. This is how empires in Asia were born. Conflicts were violent and cruel. The suffering of the elephants must have been terrible. But their natural intelligence, strength and courage made them the most frightening weapon of the ancient world. Today, Sompast is training his team for a stadium tour across Thailand. There are 40 mahouts in training, and one of his most enthusiastic students is his daughter, Ploy. The relationship that Sompast is building here between his mahouts and his elephants is a relationship that goes back long before the domestication of the horse, 4,000 years ago. Today, we accept horses as a part of life, and Sompast wants that same relationship to be re-established with elephants. And to do it, he's bringing elephants back into Thai life, using his passion for history and old-fashioned showmanship. Every few weeks on football fields around the country, Sompast rides across history, bringing its legends and heroes back to life. With a cast of hundreds and as many as 30 elephants, he puts on these stadium extravaganzas. For just a few Thai baht, anyone can come and experience Thai history, culture, and their beloved elephants. It was not long before Sompast's work began to get noticed outside Thailand. And soon Hollywood was knocking on his door. One of the world's most respected film directors came here to meet him.
I heard about Oliver Stone. He make a film, a real thing.
Oliver Stone was looking for elephants to create the famous battle between Alexander the Great's army and the armies of the Indian subcontinent in 334 BC.
We went to India, we scouted in India, but they didn't have the kind of school or organization that Sompat had in Thailand. He was really on top of his game. We're dealing with modern elephants who are not trained for war, and we had to put all this together in a limited amount of time with a limited amount of money. And the only guy in the world I know who could have done that was Sompat.
I know my elephant can do everything, and I want to show people in the world, elephant not only kick a football, not only walk on the street, sell banana. In history, we have elephant in war, and they go with a man and help a man fighting.
The film took months of training for the battle scenes. The elephants loved the action, but even Sompast could not retain total control.
Only two things I can't order: eye and tongue. In film, elephant still open eye. I try to say close, but he can't. I don't know how to train close eye. He really nice.
We wanted to recreate the sense of what Alexander felt when he crossed into India, the fear of the men when they first saw these elephants. The elephants were dangerous. These things were engines of war, and serious engines of war, frightening. And their tusks could make them doubly dangerous. They could tusk a man. They'd be trained to pick up a man and throw him and all kinds of stuff. The last take, I had a little time, so I called for all the elephants back. I asked for all 30 back, and I said, I want to do another charge. Full speed, let's not worry about wrecking the set now because this is the last shot. And action, and those elephants, they took off. And they kept going. Cut, 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 the AD's yelling it. We got our shot, we got a tremendous shot, and the elephants keep going. Past the, they don't want to stop, they want to go now, they're going home. They knew it was the last shot.
Working with Oliver Stone was a professional highlight for Sompast. But then, forces beyond anyone's control turned his elephant training into a vital humanitarian tool, following one of the greatest disasters in recent history. On December 26, 2004, the tsunami devastated the coast of southern Thailand. For Sompast, there was no question of what to do. He loaded his elephants onto trucks and drove through the night to the ravaged coastline.
That time, many tourists die. I just pay back, use elephant, help them bring their body back home. We work like they know what happened, and every elephant same a man, not happy, work like no life inside, nothing inside, only work, go to and work. We never speaking, never laughing because around me have people cry.
For the next week, they searched the scarred landscape for hundreds of missing bodies. Sompast's elephants could get to areas that heavy machinery could not.
After one day, they know what I want. They learn about find the body. He always stop.
Having found a body, the elephants were able to gently remove the debris using their tusks.
When he saw a body, he really soft. And sometimes he used ivory and hold a body. Around in tsunami, people very tired. After elephant arrive, all people like have a power again, and that time is good for elephant.
Running his elephant program on his own, Sompast faces a new challenge every day. It's monsoon season in Thailand. Monsoons can easily whip up into violent storms, and this was the result. In just a few hours, violent storms swept through the camp, destroying everything in their path. It's a setback Sompast can ill afford. He receives no official funding and covers almost all of his financial costs through his stadium shows. Over the next few weeks, he has to rebuild from scratch. But with the rebuilding comes the optimism of new life. Back at the compound, little Ply Catchathon is making great progress. A few weeks ago, he didn't know how to feed. Now he is happy and healthy and is getting cleaned for Thai New Year. Sompas's Mahouts are preparing their charges for the greatest event in the Thai calendar. It's called Songkran, the day when the sun changes its position in the zodiac. It's also celebrated in Burma, Cambodia and Laos, where it's known as the Water Festival, as people believe that water will wash away bad luck. For the Mahouts, it's about making their elephants more colourful. And then it's about water. And when it comes to squirting it, elephants are just made for it. It's about letting go and beginning again. Sompas can't imagine New Year without his elephants at the centre of all the fun. To Sompas, elephants represent the true spirit of his nation, built and defended by their remarkable strength and enduring spirit. Sompas knows that to save the Asian elephant, his people have to begin again. Like the cleansing renewal of Songkran, they have to reconsider what role this incredible animal can play in their future. In the disappearing wild, they will constantly be threatened and need protection. As one of the last Mahouts, Sompas has an enormous responsibility to redefine and continue a remarkable relationship that is as old as their civilization.
If people don't understand elephant, they will gone. Want to help elephant, help Mahout. It's better.